So would you hold my
How
coat
can
for
I
me,
see the view screen so I know what I'm
And would you
aiming
go,
at? Nicholas, how can I see the view screen
sit
so I
on
know
a
what
chair?
I'm aiming
it.
at?
It's fine.
Okay.
I like your shirt.
Dirty, rotten, stinking moon.
Just advising you, sir,
Yes,
there
sir.
is no filming in the mall. You
Why is
can't
that?
actually get arrested for that because this is private property. Unless you spoke with mall management about filming or taking any photos in the mall, you can actually get arrested for filming on private property.
Why do they have rules that differ from state and federal law?
I have no idea. I just work here and I enforce the rules, sir. So, I mean, when the officers get here, they'll tell you that's against our policy here.
Okay.
You can't get arrested, so just letting you know.
I've been told about that in Bulgaria, where they've got communist influence. I've never been told that in America.
All right, yeah. That's fine. I had to advise you guys.
So you're just hanging onto their property for the
Oh yeah, for
officers to
the
get in?
officers.
Okay.
Because you know you guys aren't allowed to do this on private property. It's open to the public, but you can't do this unless they sign off on it.
Well, we need to know that. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I'm informing you while
All
you're
right.
filming. So, yes.
His shirt tells him why he's there. His shirt tells you why he's there. Educating people about abortion and the Holocaust that's going on in our country. He's thousands of babies dying every day in abortion clinics all across this country.
Right.
That's why they're doing this, to educate people. Yeah.
What kind of activism are you doing?
It's for abolish human abortion. They're just letting people know that there's a holocaust of babies dying every day in America.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So the other folks had other signs more specific to abortion, but the security officer took them away.
Oh, I gotcha. I've done similar activism. I've done like animal rights activism and stuff, so I've done like the queue and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't seen anyone do this.
There's something new.
It's cool.
Good.
Is about the abortion? Like
Yeah, about abortion, to let people know that there's a holocaust going on in the country.
these guys are against abortion, right?
Right.
Why are people on court?
They're here to let people know about abortion and the Holocaust that's going on in our country. That there's thousands of babies dying every day. So the other folks had signs as well, but the security took them away, so they left them with the word sign, but not any pictures. But they have shirts also that talk about abortion being a Holocaust, that babies are dying every day in America.
Why are they on the floor?
Just to bring attention to the Holocaust, something to grab people's attention, get them to see.
The Holocaust is over.
Well, we're talking about the German Holocaust is over, but there were 6 million Jews killed in Nazi Germany. There's been over 60 million babies killed by abortion throughout the world. So that Holocaust is still ongoing.
Well, like people who got an abortion, they regret it. You realize how bad it will make them feel? Or like people, like when you put up those posters with the dead babies, you realize like how those like are open to little kids.
Right. Little kids can understand it sometimes better than the adults.
Nobody wants to see that.
No, nobody does, but we do need to see it because it's been kept a secret too long in our country. Yeah, people that have had abortions too will see this. I think it sometimes can bring a healing effect upon them, something they've denied, that they've participated in something that's so terrible that it's hard to look at, and they need to be reminded of that so they can have healing over that. They can realize that they've done wrong, and they can cry out to God for forgiveness, and that forgiveness is available.
I don't think abortion is okay, but I don't think there's any reason to do this because you're not really going to change anything. Like, no offense, but you're really not going to change anything by doing that. Like,
Well,
people
I think it is.
You're just having people just stare. They're not going to deeply think about what you're doing. Like, I do not think abortion is okay either, but that's just stupid.
Well, I think it's making you think about it in a new light too, because you're obviously uncomfortable with it. So before
I think everyone is uncomfortable with
right, but see, too many people are comfortable with abortion as it is, and now it's good for them to feel uncomfortable about it and face it as it really is, not as a pro-choice slogan or something that nobody talks about and just wants to ignore.
But people do talk about it. There's no reason for people to be laying on the floor and posters of babies like aborted. There's no reason for that.
I don't think it's a reality to people until they see something like that.
But that is your opinion. People are just seeing this and they're just thinking, like, this is disturbing. Like, why are people laying on the floor? And those signs, those are messed up.
It should be something disturbing. Right now it isn't. It's hidden away in clinics that nobody ever sees and nobody goes into. They don't really know what goes on there. Yeah, there was a big push to defund Planned Parenthood this past year when people did take videos of abortion clinic getting body parts ready to sell and things like that. And they're talking about the livers and the kidneys of these unborn babies and trying to harvest them intact. When they normally get shredded up in an abortion, they had to be careful about how they did it. And people were rightly disgusted by that, and there was a big push in Congress to defund Planned Parenthood because of that. It ultimately didn't succeed, but that kind of discussion needs to go on because people don't realize what goes on in abortion clinics and how the people that work there are fully in understanding that these are human body parts that they're dealing with. And yet they do it anyway. They end human lives for profit. So people do need to see that, even if it's disturbing, even if it's upsetting. Because otherwise it becomes just a slogan, my body, my choice. And they don't realize there's two bodies in that argument. It's not a woman's body, it's a woman's body plus a baby's body.
Most of the time, they're not just getting rid of the baby just because they have a choice. Most of the time, it's because they can't support it or they think it'd be better. Because sometimes life is hard to live then.
Right. I've adopted 3 children because of that. And it's wonderful when people do put their children up for adoption. That gives people that can love those children and give them a home. You know, we had to adopt internationally because there's a 2-year waiting limit in the States for adoption. Overseas, we waited about half that long. So that's because we have such high incidence of abortion in America that there's less babies to adopt. There are people willing to adopt them, waiting to adopt them, but people would rather abort them here in America. We had to go to another country where abortion isn't as prevalent so that there would be more children for us to have available to adopt. That's a terrible thing, that people devalue life that much, that they wouldn't give those babies up to people that would love them, would give them a good home. They just assume that they're going to live a life of want when that's not true. There's thousands of people waiting to adopt them.
And I'm just saying that, like, people know what abortion is. You don't need to have people laying on the floor, and you don't need to put up posters of aborted babies up, because that just disturbs everyone.
Well, and again, we've talked about that before too. I think it is needed.
Okay, well, why can't they be standing? Please don't put that down.
Sure. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Why can't they stand up?
They're going to stay on the floor until they're told to leave. So as long as they're able to speak out for the preborn in this way, they're going to take their opportunity. It's against what?
They can speak up. They can stand up.
Yeah, and they have done that too. This is just one of many ways that we try to make people aware of abortion in our culture.
People are aware of abortion. That's the thing. You don't need
Right,
to be that.
but we do need many ways for people to understand it. I mean, you've heard some arguments against it, and you know that it's a problem, but obviously you haven't seen it in this way, and it's more upsetting to you this way, and that's why we do it.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Officer Clark, City Brookfield Police Department. Can I have your name, if you don't mind? The cooperation so far.
Sure.
They did mention that recording this. I understand why you're doing it, but just recording is against mall policy while you're on their premises as well. So they're asking that you leave as well, just due to that.
Right,
so I'm just working on behalf of their wishes. Okay.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that either.
Okay,
so
yeah. So they just informed that me as well. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
God the Father sent His Son Jesus Christ to this earth to die upon the cross, to shed His blood so that you could be saved. But you must turn away from your sins. You must turn to Him for salvation, for forgiveness. There is no salvation in any other name under Jesus Christ alone.
this injustice, to stand up for righteousness, to love mercy, to walk humbly with the God of the Bible. Okay, human rights hypocrite. Stand up for the life of the unborn. Stand up for life. No, a woman has a choice. It is life.